Ciao, fellow Vita comrades, and welcome! Today we are looking at the new retro handheld called Miyoo Mini Plus from average user perspective. So let's get cracking! I'm saying from average user perspective because this is in fact my very first retro handheld in this form factor. I own several handhelds, but all of them have one thing in common. They are all horizontal like PS Vita or PSP, whereas this is like a Game Boy, vertical orientation. First thing I have noticed after grabbing it was its size. It is absolutely tiny, and this is the Plus version. They have already released Miyoo Mini, which is even smaller with 2.5-inch screen. This is 3.5-inch screen. At first I thought they have sent me wrong product, but no, I've checked it and it's the Plus version. It's hard to imagine the size from the pictures or from the video, so if you have 2.5-inch external hard drive lying around, grab it and hold on to it. It's basically the same dimensions, same footprint as Miyoo Mini Plus, but that one is a bit thicker at the bottom. If your hands are on the larger side of spectrum, like mine, I wouldn't go any smaller, cause even this is on the edge of comfortability for me. Second thing I've noticed is the build quality. It's actually pretty decent. The plastic that they have used for outer shell, as well as for all the buttons, is not the cheapest one. When I compare it to this game gadget, you can feel straight away that's the cheapest plastic bottle quality, but here it feels much nicer. It also feels very sturdy. When you push the finger in the middle, there is no movement, no squeaking noise, just a solid build. Also quick shout out to the MechDIY for providing this product for honest review. It's greatly appreciated. They got a lot of cool stuff on their website, we'll get to it later in the video. So first thing I've noticed was the tiny size, then the build quality, and third thing I've noticed straight after switching it on was not the display, but the melody coming out of the mono speaker. I'm sure you all recognize this one as good as me, cause it's the PS Vita home screen sound. You see, PS Vita legacy lives on even in this retro machine from 2023. Revolutionary indeed. After the melody, I couldn't miss the 3.5-inch IPS LCD with 640 by 480 resolution. Honestly, I was surprised by the quality it provides. It's definitely above average. Bezels are minimal and pleasability is maximal, if that's even a word. Now to the software side of things. I'm using it as it came with the official firmware, no tinkering whatsoever. I've heard Onion Custom OS should be soon working on this device too, which is supposedly better. Subscribe to see me trying it out. This is a Linux-based OS, it's pretty straightforward and it's also pretty snappy. There are few useful built-in display settings like brightness, saturation, contrast, hue to play with. Few languages, few themes, you can even remap your keys in here. Then there is a recent category, favorite, game, RetroArch and app. All categories are self-explanatory. When you go into the game, there are all the emulators available and it's all custom tailored for ease of use. When you press menu in game, you can save or load or exit and that's pretty much it. Whereas when you go through RetroArch, there are all the different cores available. And when you press menu in game in here, you go into RetroArch settings and there are so many of them. For example, when I launched PS1 game via RetroArch, it was in 16:9 with huge bezels at the top and bottom and I couldn't figure out how to put it on full screen. But when I launched it via the game, it was full screen straight away. That's what I mean ease of use, but if you like to tinker, you still can, but I felt like all the emulators in the game section were already preset for the best experience. Now to the emulation itself. The device is using dual-core 1.2 GHz CPU with 128 MB of RAM. You can choose from 32, 64 or 128 GB micro SD card, which will come preloaded with all the good stuff. You can emulate everything up to PS1. Even PS1 emulation is surprisingly enjoyable. I wouldn't really call myself retro nerd. Like there are some 8 or 16-bit games that I can always enjoy, but I was most excited about the PS1 emulation, cause that's completely different story for me. I've been playing a lot of PS1 games on my PSP, and I loved all of them, so when I found out I can play them in here, I was amazed. Even though the specs are pretty low, it's playable. I've noticed some slowdowns here and there, but overall they haven't taken anything from enjoyability, which is what matters in my opinion. All the other systems are also emulated in pretty good quality. I've noticed some tiny graphical glitches, but then when I tried the game again, they went away. no idea what was that all about. I've tried some arcade emulation, that's the second category I was most interested in. I've tried Alien vs Predator, Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, and yeah, they play great. You can even play shmups vertically. You turn the device horizontally and you use D-pad for movement and L1 for shooting, or you just press L2 for non-stop shooting. If you don't like to play them in this way, you can always play it as a tiny bar in the middle of the screen. I've also tried Game Boy Advance, SNES, Mega Drive, and no issues in there. D-pad and buttons feel fine. I've had some issues with the rear buttons. For many PS1 games you need them, but luckily you can easily remap them. L2 and R2 are a bit higher and easier to reach and to press, so that's what I was using mostly. Now, is this device for you? Should you buy it? Well, it all depends from the kind of person or gamer you are, and what are you exactly looking for. I can definitely see the appeal in its tiny size, in its 4:3 ratio 3.5 inch IPS LCD with tiny bezels. That's like the biggest pros I can think of. 4:3 ratio is ideal for pixel perfect emulation with majority of these systems, and tiny but comfortable size is a no-brainer. The color variations are also tempting: translucent black and purple, retro gray, and I have a white model, but it's more like a cream than white. Here I'm comparing it to white PSP Go and to white Xperia Play, and it's different. You know, they're playing on our nostalgia string, and I like it. The best color for me, I think, is the one that I have, but all the other colors are also very appealing. I also found one negative: the freaking speaker is terrible. They could have used something of a high quality, cause this one sounds distorted and tinny, and you gotta put the volume down to minimize the distortion, or use headphones with 3.5mm jack. Now to the price. It costs $80 with 32GB micro SD card. That's like 65 quid, which isn't as bad. An estimated shipping date is 20th of April. I think they even offer 8% discount for the first purchase, and they do ship worldwide. If you are interested in it, check their website, affiliate link is down below. They also sell other retro machines like Anbernic RG35XX, which is almost identical to Miyoo Mini Plus. It has bit better specs, it has quad-core CPU and 256 MB of RAM. And 64 model costs $70, which is 10% less, and it's available straight away. The battery is smaller though, so it's gonna last less, and you can play basically the same systems. They also offer PowKiddy and Triumph. All in all, neat little machine. I was surprised by its capability, but will I keep using it? Subscribe to find out, like if you enjoyed this video, join to support even further. Thanks to you for watching, thanks to MechDIY for sending it over. Thanks to members for support, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.